Next on Worcester News tonight, 1 year after Hurricane Maria hits Puerto Rico, some in Worcester are still feeling the impacts. Plus, Worcester Police introduced two of its newest members. The K-9 spent more than 12 weeks in training. But first, we begin with breaking news. A man stabbed multiple times near Hadwen Park Thursday evening. Good evening, I'm Brittany Schaefer. Worcester police are investigating after one victim was taken to the hospital. We should warn you, some of the images are graphic. Police say a 48-year-old man was asking for help after suffering several stab wounds on his back. A person who spoke with Worcester News Tonight says the man was bleeding profusely before he was taken away in an ambulance. Police bloodstains could be seen on the victim's clothes and on a boulder at the entrance of Hadwen Park. Detectives and the crime scene unit responded and secured the scene. The investigation is ongoing. Anyone with information is urged to contact the Worcester Police Department. On this day 1 year ago, the island of Puerto Rico was devastated by the Category 4 Hurricane Maria. The storm destroyed homes and wiped out power to virtually the entire island. And this evening, some in Worcester are taking the time to remember its impact. Our Cam Jandro joins us now with more. Cam?
Brittany, organizations across the city have been working to help Puerto Rico since just minutes after the island was ravished with Hurricane Maria. And even a year later, they say that you can still see the devastation to this day. Worcester's Latino History Project holds a moment of silence to remember the victims of Hurricane Maria. Exactly 1 year ago Thursday, the storm hammered Puerto Rico, causing roughly $100 billion in damages.
And then what Irma didn't do, Maria came and finished the job, kind of thing.
Sonia Ventura lives in Vieques, Puerto Rico, and was in Worcester Thursday taking part in a forum hosted by the city's Latino History Project. She recalls what it was like to live through the storm.
I never thought something like that would have ever happened, that I would ever seen something like that, and I was petrified.
Mayor of San Juan, Carmen Yulin Cruz, says nearly 3,000 people lost their lives as a result of Maria. For Ventura, she saw the devastation firsthand.
All the trees, the houses in front of my house that were gone completely, and it was a disaster.
Ventura says some parts of the island had no power as late as August of this year, and a great number of Puerto Ricans are still struggling.
The electricity still is not fully reliable. About half of the clinics, medical facilities closing on the island.
Merari Alvarado has a son who's a police officer in Puerto Rico. She says the conditions on the island made life difficult for everyone, including law enforcement.
He ended very, very sick with bronchitis because he had to sleep on the floor, cold floor, wet.
Alvarado works for Centro in Worcester. She says the last year has been one of the busiest for the organization, and she tries to help the people of Puerto Rico as much as she can.
At least once a year, I will try, and I was afraid to fly. I was afraid to fly, but I had to put that a scariness in the side and say, hey, I had to support my island.
Now, Friday at Worcester City Hall, a flag will be raised to commemorate the 1-year anniversary of Hurricane Maria, as well as commemorate Hispanic Heritage Month. The event is expected to kick off right around 5 o'clock. Brittany.
Thank you, Cam. UMass Memorial Healthcare settles on a lawsuit after two separate data breaches exposed patients' personal information. According to the Attorney General's office, UMass Memorial Healthcare will pay $230,000 to resolve the claims. The lawsuit alleges 15,000 Massachusetts residents' personal and health information were exposed to unauthorized parties. The lawsuit says two former employees were to blame, and the hospital didn't properly investigate the issue when they became aware. The incidents happened back in 2014. A gas leak in Marlborough forces first responders to evacuate several homes. The scare happening after contractors accidentally dug into a 2-inch gas line. Eversource responded to the scene and shut off the gas in the area of Gunner Drive. Marlborough's assistant fire chief tells us the evacuations were just a precaution, but after the explosions in Merrimack Valley last week, they wanted to be safe. He says some homes did test positive for low levels of gas.
Probably 6 to 8 homes, and currently everybody's back in their homes. All the homes have been checked for any gas, and any levels that were in the homes have been ventilated, and everything's safe.
The gas lines are now being repaired. A 62-year-old man is killed in a single car crash in Worcester. Flowers are at the site where police say the victim crashed into a tree. Police say due to the severity of the impact, the car caught fire. A neighbor was able to put the flames out. The crash happened around 10:30 Tuesday night on Blythewood Ave. Officers say he died a short time later at the hospital. The United Way of Central Massachusetts hosting an event in the city in hopes of empowering and increasing positive health for teen girls. The 16th annual Stepping Up event brought hundreds to Mechanics Hall Thursday night. The fundraising event focuses on reducing violence in adolescent girls through educational lessons and inspirational speeches. United Way President and CEO Tim Garvin says the event in Worcester has raised $4.2 million for the women's initiatives within the community over the last 16 years.
Made extraordinary strides. It has not only lifted up lives, it has saved lives. Not only does it teach young women, teenage girls, how to be financially independent, we know that the number one reason that anybody stays in an abusive relationship is because they're not financially independent. So really, this isn't just about teaching financial literacy, it's about protecting girls so that they will never be in an abusive relationship.
This is our signature event where we're bringing women and men together from the local community to raise those really much needed funds to help these girls in these programs that we support. And without their support, without their corporate sponsors and local individuals who are raising these dollars for us today, we wouldn't be able to make such a deep impact in the community.
The event featured comedy, award recipient speeches, and guided conversation of what it's like to grow up as a female in the city. A 16-year-old boy in Southbridge attends every softball game of the season with his father. He helps set up the field, return foul balls, but most of all puts a smile on every face on the field and in the stands. When entering Ed McCann Field in Southbridge, Zachary Wolfe puts a smile on every fan and player's face.
Personally, I've never seen anything like it. It's one of a kind.
I know it's something that not only me, but my whole team looks forward to every time.
The 16-year-old was diagnosed with autism at a young age, but it doesn't stop him from greeting every player.
Hi, Brian.
And Wolfe goes further than just saying hello. He knows all 400 players in the league's first name, jersey number, and gives each a special handshake.
I do. I love Seeger handshake.
You don't even get out of the car before he's there. Yelling your name, your number, number 8, Brian, number 8, and giving you the handshake.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the boom, it gives me a lift. Whenever I'm having a bad day, all I need to do is see him.
Wolfe's father, Jeff, is the vice president of the Southbridge Softball Association board and says Zach has been coming to the games for 7 years. The season runs from May through October with games every night of the week, and the father and son are a dynamic duo.
My dad is my best friend in the whole wide world.
I'm proud. He's my best friend.
Jeff says it's amazing to see his son smiling and excited to come to the field every day.
Zachary just happens to be in a community that embraces him, and he embraces the community, and it's awesome to see. It's very heartwarming, and it's nice to see that other people come around him and support him.
Worcester Police welcome its 2 newest members Thursday. The department's K-9 unit will now be staffed 24/7 and able to respond to almost any type of incident. Our Rosalind Flaherty has the story.
The Worcester Police Department's newest K-9s demonstrate some of the tasks they'll be doing every day. Ace and Mattis joined 4 other Worcester Police K-9s. Chief Stephen Sargent says before they were added, the department didn't have any dogs on duty from 12 to 8. Now they will have coverage 24/7.
We'd have to call somebody in. We'd still have to call with our partners, state police partners. They'd be coming as far away as Springfield or further. They'd always show up, but it's time consuming.
Ace spent more than 14 weeks at the academy and can find things like guns and people.
This is an opportunity that presented itself, and I said yes.
Officer Joseph Francis is Ace's handler. They spend all day together and the training never stops.
Say man's best friend for a reason. Everywhere I go, he goes.
State Senator Michael Moore and the Worcester City Manager's office helped secure the funding for Ace and Mattis. The chief and Officer Francis say the dogs will be especially useful when Worcester's new baseball stadium is open.
Just having the amount of dogs in there, I think is going to be a good deterrent for anyone who wants to maybe think twice about starting trouble.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
A public health advisory is now lifted for Indian Lake. It was closed at the end of August after high levels of blue-green algae were discovered in the water. The city says the lake is now reopened and regular recreational activities can resume. Crews will continue to monitor all bodies of water for any potential problems.